Alrighty, y'all, welcome to Ellis Mowers. This feel like has been Craftsman Central when it comes to riding mowers for the past little while. I love doing Craftsman mowers. They end up turning out good and don't really never hear from them whenever I sell them. Pretty reliable, good mowers. This one is going to be a little something different. This is an MTD Yard Machines 12.5 horsepower 38-inch cut. 7-speed. There's a 7-speed or a 6-speed. No, this is only a 6-speed. Shift on the go. Transaxle. Got this on a trade. Had a Craftsman. I did a preview on this video on my Craftsman V-twin riding mower lawn tractor. This is what I got on trade. It was kind of a complicated trade because he bought a riding mower and a push mower. So for all intents and purposes, I got $380 cash and this. So I think I made out all right. I asked $500 for the mower. So it's like I paid $120 for it. Knocked off for $120, but you know, when you go into the fact of you list it for $500, you probably get $450 for it. You know, I've got like maybe $60 or $70 in trade credit, and I had that other Craftsman on a trade, and so for all intents and purposes, it just compounds. And I have nothing in the mower, but this is a 12-horse Briggs. I don't know what year it's made. I can't get through the numbers are on the front of it, and I don't know if I have the ability to see the. If I can get the flashlight, I'll try and show you all the year. I'm thinking it's mid-90s, like a 94, 95 model. My garage is in disarray like it always is. I apologize. If I can find a flashlight. But while I'm looking for it, let me tell you the issues that it has with it. First off, the guy did say that it needs a starter, and I'm like, okay. You know, a lot of times people are like, it needs a starter because it won't start. Well, there's some legitimacy to this case. I have the starters over here on the desk, or on this little entertainment cart. This is the starter that came off of it. As you can see, it's missing one side of the pin, and I think it's missing the cover on it, and you can see it just pops right off. So it did need a starter for once. I could rebuild this one. I'm sure it's just fine otherwise. The plastic teeth are a little worn on it, but I have this one that's perfectly fine, that's been sitting in my parts hoard, so to speak. I'm going to pop this one on it. I'm curious, it's kind of late tonight, but I'm curious if this thing will run. Let me find my flashlight. I am going to, as you can see, it's leaking oil out this little dipstick seal like crazy. And somebody's been in this before, because you have this cluster of wires here that it's not hooked to anything. You have some spliced wires here. So we'll see if the coil / stator works on it. You've got this positive wire going up to the stator, and it's coming down into this, and it looks like they just connected it straight to the switch or something. I don't know what they did. I just want to make sure that it is starting and charging the battery. This battery had been sitting, I have it on the charger now, it had been sitting for a while. It still had like 11.8 volts in it. The battery's less than 2 years old on it. So let me find a flashlight, and I will see if I can tell you all the year of this lawnmower. And it's kind of, I mean, it's dark outside right now. Curiosity kills the cat, or I guess curiosity kills the cat. Hopefully it doesn't kill me. I'm going to throw a little electrical tape on that stator wire, pop the starter in here, and then I'm just going to hook the battery up and see if this thing will crank over and run. I really think that it will. I will have to add a little bit of oil. I am also low on oil here at the house. I got to make an oil run at some point, but I got to put new oil in it just to see if it'll run. So it's just 2 3/8" bolts you put the starter in. So I'm going to do that, hook up the starter wire. or the ground terminal, or the positive terminal there. That's not a ground terminal. And so you see, this thing will start and run. Air filter's terrible on it too. I'll have to order an air filter for it. But yeah, let's see what we got. So looking a little bit further on this, I think this has been owned by a flipper. I just looked at the date code. I don't think that y'all can see it, but it does say 890526. So this, the engine at least is from 89. The mower, I think, is a little bit newer than that. Because this says this a 12 horse. And hood says a 12 and a half. So I've determined that this is not the original engine that came on this lawnmower. The sticker has worn off of it. But I do think that this mower was made in sometime in the mid-90s or so. It looks like a mid-90s MTD. So that's that. Now let's pop a starter on and see what we got. Alrighty, I'll put the starter in there. Just wanted to show you. Right there. Put the battery back in. It is turning over. I do have a little bit of a fuel leak out of the fuel lines right here. But for the purposes of trying to start this thing, it's away from any spark area, and obviously I know I was going to put fuel lines on it. Let me put y'all right here. Let's see if this thing will run. I'd love to see this thing run tonight. It's dark. I want to go for a ride. All right, forward. They didn't like that. There we go. Don't like going into gear. They want to stop there. Blades? Not like a load on it. I will have to check the brakes on it. I don't know how they use this thing like this. brakes just need tightening up. Trans is good though. Doesn't turn very sharp to the right. That's about it. Alright, let's get her back in the garage. Wow. It runs. And the blades work. Go figure. He did mention something about the deck. The blades are pretty sharp on it too. I might not even touch them because I bet them spindles down there, them spindle nuts are probably shot. Oh no, these have got the oh good, these have the old style spindle nuts on them. These blades are recently sharpened though. They're a little dull. So I could probably pop the blades off and sharpen them, but daggone, it runs. Let's see if it'll start back up. Didn't really even smoke, for especially for a 12 horse. Yeah, this thing's gonna need an air filter on it pretty bad. Air filter, fuel lines. Fix this panel right here. See if I can fix the brakes on it. Brakes are probably just a little worn, but I mean, or it might just need adjusting. I don't know how to adjust the brake on these things, if they're even adjustable. I have to look at it when it's more. Oh, they're the brakes. Probably just adjust them in a little bit, and that'll probably fix them. Cool. That was nice to know for the evening. Come back out here tomorrow. See what we can do. I'll get an air filter on order for this thing too. Shut off the fuel while I'm thinking about it, because it's leaking right there at the gasket. Golly, that fuel line's bad. Alright, so that's it for this evening. I'll turn it, get it back rolling again tomorrow. Get an air filter for this thing, sell it on off. So I'm kind of in a dilemma here. I think, as much as I want to do this, I've got an air filter for a snapper that I think will fit right on this thing. As much as I want to do this, put an air filter on it, the problem is these things are expensive if I go to the dealer and buy them. Online it's going to take me almost a week to get them. That's the only thing that this thing needs. I know that, I mean, look at the lawnmower. Whoever's going to buy it is somebody that's going to just need something to cut the grass with, honestly. So, bless me, I'm sorry. I might just, because apart from that, I can put a fuel line on it, fix the oil leak, wash it, just clean it up, and she'll be ready to go. I mean, I don't think an air filter is going to make or break a sale on this lawnmower. So what I might do is advertise it saying it could use an air filter. I am going to investigate when it's light tomorrow to make sure that the deck belt is operating properly and that it doesn't jump off. I'll run it for a good 10 minutes or so probably. Make sure that it doesn't jump off of the mower. But the blade engage is working great. Fix the brakes, obviously put some screws in here to get this to where it's not going all over the place like it is right now. And probably list this thing and get it gone. Do a quick flip on this one. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm thinking at. I don't think it's worth waiting 5-6 days for an air filter whenever I've got one, or whenever I can just flip it. I got to tighten up that as well. So that's kind of where I'm at with this one. Obviously, if this was a nice Craftsman or something, I'd wait for the air filter just before I'd sold it. But this little cheap MTD, it won't fetch a lot of money as it is. Probably not going to do that. Let me know what y'all would do. I was on the fence, and then I'm sitting here looking like, I don't think anybody who is going to come buy this thing is going to be nitpicky about an air filter. And if they do, I'll point them, I'll just knock $20 off the mower, you know. It's just not worth sitting around in the garage waiting on an air filter when this thing could be gone cutting grass. Anyways, that's my thinking. Let me know what y'all think. I will get that oil leak under control though. There's basically no oil in it, so I'm even going to worry about draining the oil out and changing it, because whoever flipped this mower the last time, because this mower's been flipped because somebody just put air and all, or tubes in all the tires already. It's like they've already done the job for me. It's nice. I've got an oil leak right there, and then I mean, I don't get it. So instead of finding like a longer elbow, they put a short elbow on it, and I guess they just put the motor on it on the frame. And I don't know how you change the oil in this thing so, without just making a catastrophic mess. If you just tilt, maybe you just tilt it to one side. Like I said, I'm going to clean all this off, clean all this oil up as good as I can, and just fix it. And like I said, fix it, flip it, and let it ride. The battery is charging. I tested that. Battery is good on it. Somebody put a 350 cold cranking out battery on it, which is awesome. So won't have any problem turning this 12-horse Briggs over. Anyways, I'll catch y'all tomorrow, and we'll finish this thing up. So I'm here. I've got the fuel line on it. I wanted to show y'all. Put new fuel line on it. That other stuff was cracked and brittle. Look at how bad that was. I can't believe they were using the lawnmower like this. Now I moved on to the dipstick. There's a screw. This is the old Briggs here. This is a screw. Unscrew it. Takes this little dipstick holder out. You can remove that bracket if you wanted to. We're going to take the dipstick out, and what we're going to do is we're going to leak more oil all over the place. I'm going to put an O-ring on the end of this right here. I'm going to size it up and just put it in there, and then just pop it back down in there, and hopefully that will stop the bleeding, so to speak, of the oil dipstick tube. And then I'm going to clean it all up. So let me do that. We'll clean it up, and I'll give this thing a test run. I'll make sure the deck is level, and rejoin y'all hopefully for a final run here in just a second. Well, so usually this video ends a little bit differently. It usually ends on me, starting it up, doing a final test and whatnot. I had that filmed, but I deleted the clip because I thought I was going to be working on it a little bit more and didn't want to give y'all a false final test. What I ended up having to do is take it over to the grandma's because hers blew up on her, and they're just the type that just crank it and go until it stops. So you got, you know, everything caked up right here, and it blew it up. So considering that I don't really have a lot of money in it, it's a cheap lawnmower, give her something to cut the grass. I sent it over there. I did have to do a few things to it though, and I've got the air filter right here and the carburetor. There's what the air filter looked like, so I replaced that. Throw it in the trash. Carburetor, what it was is there ended up being a small fuel leak. I ended up replacing sealing it up with some gasket sealer, which actually worked, believe it or not. It held it for over a week. There's some trash up in where the fuel inlet was and a couple other things, but the thing ran, but it started leaking at the needle in the seat, I'm pretty sure. And so what I ended up doing is I ended up ordering another carburetor and taking it over there and popping it on there. It was $20. This thing right here was choking really bad. And I didn't realize until after the fact that this right here is your actual fuel adjustment screw on these older carbs. It's weird, but I know that's the way that it is. So that's probably why it was flooding. I probably didn't have it right, but again, I'm not really comfortable with this type of sealing things up. I might just keep this one around just for the heck of it, because I've got a snapper that sometimes has a leaky needle and seat. I might could throw that on there, I don't know, or I might just chuck it. You know, these things are $20 if I get them online. Came with some gaskets and such. You get these with all type, you know, with all the lawnmowers. I ended up having to take the choke arm off and putting the new one on because that choke arm was on backwards. I don't know why they did that. I guess there's a couple of different types of the way that these things run, but the butterfly and all that good stuff is not really even be worth saving, because those are never items that you need. And you get like I said, you can get these carburetors so cheap now. I've got I don't know how many of these gaskets too. I know some of you are like, why are you throwing away perfectly good stuff? Well, you get the whole kit with them anyways whenever you buy one, and usually whenever I go that route, that's the route I'll go. Other than that, I really don't need gaskets and stuff like that, which is, you know, the way that it is. I got a bunch of mess in the garage here still, but I wanted to just end this video, tell you that that's what happened. I went over there and threw that carburetor on there and dialed it in. Just dialed it in just to make sure it would run good for him. It was just seeping a little bit of oil out of the dipstick tube still, but that's very, very typical of these old flatheads. So next video we'll see another lawnmower out here on the dock getting fixed. And if you want to follow real-time updates of what I'm up to, you can follow me at Ellis Mowers 09 on Instagram and Facebook. As you can see, I show this every time, but there are plenty of projects out here for me to do. So you'll see more coming on the videos soon, and I'll catch you then.